Hey guys, Brian O'Day. I'm one of the pastors of Pillar Church of Jacksonville, North Carolina. Also serve as executive director of the Praetorian Project, and I'm joined today by Jake Rogers, who is one of the pastors of Pillar Church of Dumfries. How you doing today, Jake?
Doing great. How are you?
Doing well. So, give us a little bit of history of Pillar Dumfries, and so maybe start with where in the world is Dumfries, and then your intersection with Pillar Dumfries.
Yeah. So Dumfries, Virginia is about an hour south of DC, right on the 95 corridor, located right outside of Marine Corps Base Quantico, which is kind of a hub for a lot of activity within the Marine Corps, especially officers start their training here and then continually come back throughout their Marine Corps careers. So Pillar Dumfries specifically started back in 2005 is when they were planted by Clint Clifton, who had this vision of harnessing or capturing a lot of the potential of so many Marine officers and just Marines in general coming through this central area, being here for a short period of time, and then being sent out by the military to different bases around the country and around the world, really with the idea of being able to train them up, disciple them, equip them, so that the government could essentially then fund the sending out of these disciples around the nation and around the world, where they could then be multiplying and making more and more disciples. And so then out of that was birthed the idea of the Praetorian Project, which came from the statistic that about 80% of the Marine Corps is going to be located at one of four major Marine Corps installations. And so from that came the idea of what if we had churches at all of those installations where we could continue the discipleship of those individuals and really transition members between the different churches and just really continue that process of investing in and equipping the saints for the work of the ministry. And so we're going to be celebrating 19 years this upcoming spring. I got into the Praetorian Project when Pillar 29 Palms planted while I was stationed out there during my time in the Marine Corps, and really grew and discipled there. And then when my wife and I PCSed, we started attending here at Pillar Church at Dumfries. We were here for about a year, had the opportunity to go down to Pillar Stafford when they planted. And then as we were kind of ending or coming toward the end of our time in the Marine Corps, there came the opportunity for the executive pastor position here at Pillar Dumfries. So I was hired and came on staff just this past July.
Sweet. So yeah, so you and your wife Joy were at Pillar 29 Palms pretty early on in that plant,
Yeah.
right? And then came to Dumfries, and then went to Stafford and were there at the very beginning of that plant, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then have come on staff at Pillar Dumfries, that is the most established church in the project and everything else. So you've been at like the brand new young church plants and now more established church. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Pillar Dumfries about to sell in 6 months or so. We'll celebrate 19 years as a church, which is like an eternity in our in our family of churches. So what are some things that you're celebrating here at Pillar Dumfries?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we're celebrating right now in the season is just being a church planted in a military community, and a lot of the churches in the network obviously experience this. But every summer we have this large movement of probably about 50% of our membership that gets orders from the Marine Corps to go somewhere else, and then we're just kind of waiting through the summer to see what the new crop of individuals that God is going to bring into the local community and how we can connect with them well. And so now we're getting the opportunity to celebrate just another year of really seeing and experiencing God's faithfulness as He's brought in just another group of just faithful brothers and sisters that have gotten plugged into the church, and just already began serving and just building those bonds of community that I think really make all of the churches within the Praetorian Project just a really special place. So yeah, I just think we're really in a season of celebrating, just witnessing and experiencing another year of God's faithfulness as He's guided us through that season. We also recently were able to just add two new elders to our leadership. And so One of those individuals really started here as an elder, was able to go down to Pillar Topsail and served as an elder down there, and now has come back through the military up here. And so, once again, just really rejoicing in the way that God continues to use the military to fulfill kind of the vision that was behind the Praetorian Project, which was moving faithful individuals from church to church where they can just serve and continue to invest in the expansion of his kingdom.
Yeah, praise God, praise God. And you guys have just recently had a couple of connection events for some of those new members you talk about. The big moving season. So there's a lot of schools that happen around here, military schools
Mhm.
that happen around here. So big moving season in the summer, and y'all just had a man down men's conference, which is a good like let's connect as the men. Just had a fall festival
Mhm.
recently, and so just connecting, like creating opportunities for community and people to connect and build relationships and everything else. So man, that's exciting. How can we be praying for you personally and or Pillar Dumfries?
Yeah, I think a couple of ways. One is that while we're rejoicing in all of these new individuals that have come and joined the church, I think we also, as a leadership team, just really have a burden or feel burdened with the responsibility of shepherding them well, getting to know them, getting them plugged in a way that we can care for them and they can also be contributing to the ministry. So just be praying for the ministry leaders and the elders and really even just the entire community of the church that we can be walking faithfully as we seek just to integrate these new individuals and really care for them well, regardless of how much time we're going to have with them here. And then I think another way that you guys can be praying for the church is, even though we are the oldest church within the Praetorian Project, we are still meeting in a school. We don't have a permanent location. And so we do have the opportunity and have been kind of in the works of working toward the building of a more permanent location. And so just as we walk through kind of that ongoing problem with all the intricacies and opportunities that are there, just really be praying for wisdom for the elders and for the entire church as we just seek to be faithful with the resources that God has given us, as well as with just shepherding the body and trying to provide a little bit more of a permanent home for the church.
Man, praise God. Very cool. Well, if you've listened to this far, I encourage you to stop now before you move on with the rest of your day and pray for Jake and pray for Pillar Church of Dumfries and just what God would do in and through this church. Thank you guys so much for your partnership with Praetorian Project and interest in what's going on. I love you guys.